The movie starts with a man pulling up his car and circus trailer on the side of a somewhat deserted road. He gets out and waits for someone. Moments later, another car with a trailer appears and stops behind him. The driver gets out and introduces himself as Johnny. The man with the circus trailer is here to sell a tiger and says he's only doing it because the circus doesn't want it anymore due to an incident involving the tiger. The tiger had killed another important animal from the circus during a show. They say it jumped over a 5-meter-high fence, passing by 11 horses to reach its specific target, which was a mare, the most beautiful and intelligent in the circus. The man says that the tiger did it all out of sheer whim, being a beast with a difficult and uncontrollable personality. The transaction takes place, and the man from the circus warns Johnny that the tiger hasn't eaten for 2 weeks as a way to dominate it better, showing who's in charge. Johnny buys the tiger with the idea of setting up a safari park and using it as one of the main attractions for the public. After this, the scene shifts to our protagonist, named Kelly, who is taking her little brother, who is autistic, named Tom, to a specialized school for children in need of special care. Kelly and Tom's mother passed away recently, leaving her responsible for taking care of him. However, Kelly dreams of going to college and had earned a scholarship. So, although it's very sad for her to leave her brother there, she knows she has to do it, or she will lose the scholarship. With a broken heart, Kelly tries to say goodbye to her brother, but when she touches him, Tom, who has a serious issue with being touched, becomes very stressed, screaming and flailing. At that moment, another school staff member approaches and whispers something to the principal. She passes the information to Kelly, saying that the check she used to pay for Tom's stay came back for insufficient funds. Embarrassed, Kelly says she had no idea and calls her account manager. He informs her that her stepfather withdrew everything yesterday and closed that account. In the next scene, we find out that Kelly's stepfather was Johnny, who bought the tiger using her money. He plans to turn the house and the entire property into his safari park. A few hours earlier, TV and radio news reported that a major Category 3 hurricane was heading toward the region where they live. That's why Johnny was putting reinforced boards on all the doors and windows of the house. Kelly arrives and confronts Johnny, saying that he couldn't have withdrawn all the money because she needed it to keep Tom at the specialized school and make her dream of going to college come true. Johnny claims that their mother had not left a will, so he could withdraw whatever he needed. And about the boy not being able to stay in the specialized school anymore, he simply says that she could go to college and leave Tom, as he would take care of him. Kelly, feeling frustrated, doesn't even consider that option. She calls the college director to inform him that she would need a few more months to handle family matters and wouldn't be able to accept the scholarship that semester. The director then says that she had already postponed the scholarship twice and could not do it again. Otherwise, he would have to give it to someone else. Kelly, having fought hard for that opportunity, tells him she would make a decision soon. She takes Tom to bed and accidentally touches him, making him scream and hide in his usual spot. Back in her room, Kelly lets out a muffled scream into her pillow, releasing all her frustration from not being able to pursue her dreams. Meanwhile, the men were finishing putting reinforced boards on the doors and windows of the house, as the hurricane was already near. However, at a certain point, someone drags the tiger's cage, opens the main door of the house, and releases it inside. In the middle of the night, Kelly gets up to check on Tom in his room. She goes down to the kitchen to get some water, heads back upstairs, and just as she's about to enter the room, she hears a strange noise coming from downstairs. When she goes to check, she discovers it's the tiger, free and loose inside the house. In shock, she quietly heads back to the room, opens the windows, and tries to push the boards. But she can't. So, she goes to get the cell phone that she thought was charging in the bathroom, and seeing that it was not there, she remembers that it got mixed up with the dirty laundry when she tossed it in the laundry room. Opening the door very carefully to avoid making any noise, she checks if the tiger isn't there in the hallway and heads over to the landline, which, however, was silent due to the intense hurricane. Hearing the creature's growls, she cautiously looks downstairs again and sees it there. Kelly then goes to Tom's room, tries to open the windows like before, but once again does not succeed, and then she realizes that Tom is not in bed. She searches everywhere he could possibly be in the room, but finds nothing. Not knowing where he could be, she decides to go down to the laundry room to get her phone and call for help. The call to the authorities does not go through because of the intense hurricane, so she calls Johnny, who, however, has left his phone in the car and is being completely useless in a bar. Kelly tries to go back upstairs, but realizes the tiger is there, so she goes down and desperately tries to knock down the board nailed to the kitchen door, but a noise catches the tiger's attention, causing it to rush down. Noticing this, Kelly grabs a knife and heads back to the laundry room. There, she opens a hatch to try to escape, but it was also blocked. So, in an attempt to break the board, she once again only manages to attract the tiger's attention, which starts pounding on the door fiercely. Thinking quickly, she grabs a bucket and uses it to climb into the laundry chute, but in the process, she accidentally drops the phone. The tiger enters shortly after, and Kelly tries to remain as silent as possible, making a great effort not to slip off the narrow laundry chute while the tiger frantically searches for her below by following her scent. When suddenly the phone starts ringing. It was an emergency number calling back. But hearing it too, the feline breaks it at once. At this moment, Kelly, making a great effort to stay there, starts to slip, making noise as her skin rubs against the metal. This causes her to sweat a lot, and a drop falls to the floor, revealing her location to the tiger, which spots her immediately. The desperation begins when the beast tries to grab her, and she, almost out of strength, desperately tries to climb, barely escaping the animal's claws. But luckily the tiger is too big to fit in there, and with a lot of struggle, she manages to reach the hatch that led to the room upstairs. When suddenly she realizes Tom is there, then she calls him to go to the room. But in a moment of distraction, she doesn't notice that Tom is actually heading in the opposite direction, and before she knows it, he's already near the stairs. Kelly quickly reaches him and stops him from going down by using her usual tactic of holding her hands up as if she were going to touch him, which makes him always walk and move away from hands as he cannot stand being touched. This works well, and she manages to take the boy to the other room. There, she turns on the computer intending to ask for help, but as expected, there is no internet due to the hurricane. At that moment, the 200-kilogram tiger starts trying to break down the bedroom door. Quickly, Kelly grabs Tom, covering his mouth, takes a bottle of perfume, and while hiding under the bed, spills the fragrance on the floor to mask her scent. The tiger enters, circles the bed a little, then climbs on top of it, leaving Kelly unsure from which side it will appear next. She sees the open door and thinks about running for it, but suddenly the beast surprises them from one side of the bed and begins to attack. With its great strength, the feline lifts the bed, flipping it over Kelly and Tom as they manage to get out from underneath. Thanks to this, the tiger is unable to catch them. Kelly opens another door and gets out with Tom, fleeing to the lower floor. There, with a small table, she tries to knock down the wood blocking the exit. When she cannot, she comes up with another idea. She goes to the fridge, grabs some ground meat, puts a few pills inside, and makes some balls. Tom is shouting for food, and she throws the meatballs into the living room. The tiger then comes downstairs and, being famished, starts eating the meat, completely ignoring Tom's shouting and not chasing him. This gives Kelly an advantage, as she drags her brother upstairs, where she gets the idea to hide in the attic. Can't she? However, she cannot open the hatch because, strangely, it was screwed shut. At that moment, Tom, because of his special condition, completely ignores the great danger and heads towards it. Kelly hears the tiger's roar and rushes, thinking she is close to her brother. But luckily, the boy was entering the room. She goes in with him and makes her way to another door that led to the other side of the hallway. With that, they managed to lock themselves in a room that was being renovated. Kelly then blocks the door with a piece of furniture and looks for a way to escape. However, the tiger finds them again and starts breaking down the door. This time, in an attempt to save themselves, they hide in the closet. The tiger manages to get in, sniffs around the area, and soon finds them. Kelly freezes momentarily under the beast's cold stare, but eventually gets the idea to break the wall behind her, which was already a bit weak. With a lot of effort, she manages to make a small hole. She first pushes Tom through it and then tries to escape herself. However, the tiger manages to claw one of her legs, causing an injury, but it is not serious. And because it is too large, it cannot get through the hole to pursue them. Kelly and Tom manage to escape to another room, where she breaks the window glass with a golf club. However, she still cannot break down the wooden boards covering them, and at that moment, she remembers a firearm hidden in that room. She finds the bullets and searches for the gun everywhere possible but cannot find it. She notices she's bleeding quite a bit, so she tears a piece of cloth and wraps it around her wound. At this moment, amid all that clutter of papers, Kelly sees one that catches her attention. And there, she discovers that her mother had indeed left a will with amounts for both of them. She realizes what is happening, concluding that her stepfather wants them dead to claim their share of the inheritance, being the husband of her deceased mother and the closest legal guardian. Kelly searches for the gun again, and this time she finds it, loads the bullets, and heads out to confront the tiger. However, Tom also steps out, leaving himself vulnerable in the middle of the room. At that moment, the tiger slowly approaches and, seeing the meatballs on the floor, starts eating them, staying very close to where Kelly was hiding. Tom turns on the TV in the other room, making noise and drawing the beast's attention towards him. Kelly seizes the moment and aims her gun at the tiger, but one of the chambers of the revolver is empty, and that's the one that gets engaged. When Kelly pulls the trigger, it doesn't fire, which catches the tiger's attention again. She pulls the trigger once more, but this time she cannot aim properly due to her hasty escape, and she misses the shot. Desperate, she runs into a room and hides under a tablecloth. The tiger jumps on the table and starts roaring at something. Kelly looks and realizes it is roaring at its own reflection in the mirrors there. She takes advantage of the opportunity, leaves her hiding place, and closes the door to that room, trapping the beast inside. She tries to grab her brother to escape, but Tom, who can't stand being touched, accidentally hits Kelly on the nose with the TV remote, making her bleed. This also attracts the attention of the tigre, who was getting used to its reflection. Kelly runs to the kitchen and hides. The tiger follows her and climbs onto the stove. Realizing this, she quickly turns on all the burners, startling it. With her weapon, she fires but misses again, then throws pots at him, fleeing to another room. There, she bolts the door with an iron bar and manages to break the wood blocking her from leaving the house. Managing to escape and reaching the car outside, she tries to start it to leave. But then, she remembers the happy moments with her family, and her sisterly love speaks louder than the great fear she was feeling. She cannot leave her brother behind to be killed by the beast. Kelly then gathers strength and courage, making her re-enter the house, grab the weapon, and search for her brother. She cautiously moves in silence to Tom's room, imagining he might be there, but she does not find him. Searching further, she finds him inside the closet in the room under renovation, and then takes him to the bathroom. There, Kelly comes up with the idea to make an improvised torch to gain an advantage in case she inevitably runs into the tiger. She tries to take Tom to the laundry to escape through the exit she managed to open, but the beast suddenly appears and attacks them. Kelly dodges and strikes it with the torch, then uses her last bullet to shoot, grazing the beast's head. Kelly manages to keep it at bay with the torch, providing an opportunity, and as a last resort, she gets Tom into a freezer and then climbs in herself. The tiger attacks but can't reach them inside. After trying persistently and failing, it seemingly loses interest in the two of them. Time passes and Kelly, at a certain moment, peeks outside and realizes the animal is no longer nearby. Then she comes out with Tom. Then she hears the sound of tools removing the screws from the front door and heads there. We soon see that it's Johnny, with a rifle in hand, cautiously entering the house. This makes it evident to everyone that he knew about the danger and that he was the one who released the tiger inside the house at the beginning of the movie. However, to his sad surprise, Kelly and Tom appear in front of him unharmed, and with a brazen face, he starts talking nonsense as if Kelly didn't know that he was behind all this. Kelly imagines the worst, thinking they might be killed by Johnny, and she tells him that Tom doesn't understand anything that happened, asking if he'll let them leave. Then, at that moment, the tiger emerges and fiercely attacks Johnny, dragging him away and devouring him, while completely ignoring Kelly and Tom, who cautiously make their way out of the house. The movie ends with Tom holding Kelly's hand as she finally sighs in relief, knowing they are now safe.